I'm Ankit, and yes, I identify myself as gay.
Hi, my name is Harish Iyer and I am a homosexual.
So what is LGBTQIA? Why are there so many letters? Well, L stands for lesbian, G is gay, B is bisexual, T is transgender, Q is queer or questioning, I is intersex, A is asexual or agender. Across the world today, the LGBT community is gaining acceptance, but a few countries like India still perceive this community as a cultural abomination. LGBT Indians are criminalized and ostracized by society. The Nas Foundation of Delhi has played a pivotal role in bringing the situation to light.
I think the issue that kind of really brought it to the fore was when one of the young men who had come to me for counseling with his parents came back a few months later and told me that he had been given shock treatment to make him straight. And so we went to the National Human Rights Commission at that point, who said, look, we can't do anything. We are not going to file your complaint because it is an illegal act under this law.
So what is this law really about? Whoever voluntarily has carnal intercourse against the order of nature with any man, woman or animal shall be punished with imprisonment for life for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to pay fine. The law was enforced under the British rule in 1861 and originates from the British Buggery Act of 1553. This act was repealed by the British themselves in 1967, but the archaic law and its ideas remain in India.
IPC 377, which criminalizes all sexuality which does not include penile-vaginal sex. Now, many people say that it's about gay sex, which is completely myth. It is not just about gay sex, but it is about the whole dimensions of human sexuality, which is not just between penile and vagina.
They believe that this is against the order of nature and man was to be monogamous, he was to marry a woman. There was an idea of, progeny being produced out of a relationship of sex. It's not just for pleasure and it's for procreation and all, not just pleasure. And there was an idea of the extension of the family.
To give you a context of India's fight against 377, in 2001, the Nas Foundation Trust filed a writ petition challenging the legality of Section 377. In 2009, there came a moment of success when the Delhi High Court declared Section 377 unconstitutional. The decision was overturned by the Supreme Court after it was challenged by Suresh Kumar Kaushal and other religious leaders in 2013. The Supreme Court's ruling on the right to privacy in 2017 has now empowered the LGBT to be vocal about their orientation but does not legalize the act.
In this time frame between 2009 and 2013, so many people had come out of the closet. They again were pushed back behind the closet. The discrimination ratio suddenly jumped up. So many people face discrimination by the police and the bureaucracy. There were few suicide cases as well because Supreme Court failed to recognize the fundamental rights of the queer people.
Due to this law in India, the daunting task of coming out becomes even more punishing. Social unacceptance leads to depression and gives way to psychological trauma.
I have slashed my wrist. I was in college. I used to study at Khalsa College and then I was in Xavier's. I wasn't even sure about my sexuality, but there were college graffiti walls which said for gay sex contact Harish. So when I was around 18 or something, I tried slashing my wrist once. Then there was another episode when I tried consuming tablets.
15th of December, I went to that KM hospital, Pagalkhana, that mental asylum. I was fully bald. I got good hairs like this. They bald myself. मतलब पूरा मतलब कैसे? हाँ, they bald me. फिर वहाँ पे शॉर्ट ट्रीटमेंट देते थे कि क्यों मतलब ज़बरदस्ती का मतलब लड़की बनना चाह रहा है. वो लोगों ने जैसे सेक्स वर्कर्स होती है उन लोगों का हायर किया था. कैमरा जैसे इतना बड़ा रूम रहता है. उधर कैमरा इधर कैमरा इधर कैमरा. I was fully nude and 4 people were there on me. Totally थक गए थे बेचारे, पसीने से बाहर चले गए.
and she thought that, oh, it is cured. Basically she meant it as a disease. I mean, come on, I'm not diseased, man. My own mother again. And then when I came out to her in April last year, the first line that she was like, okay, wait, we'll get a havan done at home. So basically she thought that I am under some I don't know what to call that, but I know under some spell or something, or maybe I am under some disease, or maybe somebody of that community might have touched me, and that's the reason I have become that way.
A lot of mental issues. Like, for example, I suffered from a very bad series of depressive thoughts. I was even bipolar at a point of time when that was it. When I came, like I went to my shrink and I said that I can't take this anymore. I'm gay, and you're the first adult that I'm telling this to, and all of this because Section 377 criminalizes gay sex, which people are not aware about.
Basically, sometimes when the parents of children come and they request me or sometimes beg me to kind of change the orientation of their sexual orientation of their child, there have been cases of parents beating the child black and blue. Child, but here they are like consenting adults actually, and so that is sad.
So Article 377 is extremely misused by the police. I will come across at least 2 to 3 cases each month wherein police would have put behind the bar an individual based on their sexuality. These cases will again not be registered, okay, so that nobody is accountable for it. The people will be put behind the bars, police will demand the money or at times even a sexual pleasure. Once the demands are satisfied, they will release that person.
Yes, I have a very, very recent matter around a year or two ago when a professor, I don't want to name anybody, he swore, a tuition teacher, was framed by 8 or 10 parents of 377. They just framed him by saying that the kids were buggered, and ultimately even the medical evidence didn't support this.
There have been people who have been thrown out of their jobs, there are many people who have survived rape, many people who have gotten raped, many people who have been extorted in the pretext of Section 377 because the law actually empowers these antisocial elements.
There are many misconceptions that exist in society about the LGBT. These are primarily propagated by political and religious opinion leaders.
ये जो होमोसेक्सुअल्स बोलते हैं हम ये तो हमारी जीन्स में है, तो जेनेटिक तो डिप्रेशन भी तो जेनेटिक है, सारे डिजीज जेनेटिक है. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये जो भी इसका कारण रहा है, चाहे ये जीन्स में है या उसके ब्रेन में है, जो भी चीजें हैं उसमें ये एक विकृति है. हम इसको पूर्ण स्वस्थ मानसिकता नहीं कह सकते. अब इसके ऊपर बहस हो रही है अभी पूरी दुनिया में.
बदकिस्मती से दुनिया में भी और ये बीमारी हमारे देश में भी आ गई जहां आदमी आदमी के साथ सेक्स करता है, जो कि बिल्कुल अननेचुरल है, नहीं होना चाहिए लेकिन है.
Please get your facts right because this is wrong. Okay, we have a scientific basis, scientific proofs to prove that this is not a disorder or a disease or a psychological problem or an issue. It has nothing to do with your various they say, okay, it's like something that happened in the childhood, or oh no, please, it has nothing to do with anything of the sort. This is a very natural process. Please accept it and let people get on with their lives. That this is a combination of your hormonal, genetic and environmental influences, and it has nothing to do with your upbringing or the experiences that you have as a child, or even that it's a choice. Because then how do you explain the behavior or the body language of say a 7-year-old?
The Supreme Court in their ruling termed the community as a minority. However, the LGBT are opposed to this view.
When the Supreme Court negated what the Delhi High Court passed, in the document they had written that we are a minuscule minority, which is so unresearched, because if you see the Pride this year. We were 15,000 of us just from Mumbai. 15,000. It's not a minuscule minority. And that's just in Mumbai. There are so many people who are still in the closet who are not comfortable coming out with their sexuality. So we're not just like a small set of people who are crying for their rights. We are a large set of people who are demanding for the rights that they should already have.
I want to get married. I want to adopt a child. I want to have equal civil rights. I want to have a fundamental rights promised in the constitution, which is of the equality and right to dignity, which is denied to me by the same law of IPC 377. And do you know who failed me? The court of this country, whose duty is to protect the constitution. That same court has failed me.
The religious standpoint on homosexuality is vague, with some religions opposing it while some are publicly in favor.
मान कर रहे हैं नेचर के खिलाफ जो चीजें हैं उसे क्यों एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं? अगर कुछ लोग एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं तो आप उसको माइनॉरिटीज कह करके उसको और भी बढ़ावा देना चाह रहे हैं। चली आ रही है इस तरीके से हम जीते आ रहे हैं जो नेचर के साथ जीते हैं।
Since becoming Pope, Francis made the most conciliatory comments about homosexuals, and specifically gay priests, ever spoken by a modern pope. The unusually frank press conference on the flight home from Brazil covered a lot of ground over 80 minutes.
Si una persona è gay.
But most of the press corps reported this quote from the Pope. If someone is gay and he searches for the Lord and has goodwill, who am I to judge? The comment was an answer to a question about gay priests. The words were remarkable for the sentiment and for being the first time a pope has publicly used the word gay.
The confusion surrounding this issue makes people less comfortable with the idea, creating an unwelcoming atmosphere towards the LGBT.
My perspective is the same as that of Pope Francis, who is the leader of the Catholic Church, who says while a person could have this kind of an orientation, you must distinguish between the homosexual and homosexual activity. Okay, so the homosexual would be accepted by the church as a person, as someone who's created by God, who has a particular orientation in life. So when it comes to homosexual activity, the church would say the person has to exercise some kind of restraint, the norm of the way the church has understood morality. It cannot be kind of accepted as a norm in itself. So there would be a need for the person to kind of go through a certain amount of pain and suffering spiritually in this area of his or her life, right? Where we speak of, where in the context of religion, we speak of morality, right and wrong, ethics and so on. I don't think it will ever be possible for this particular perspective to be accepted, that people of same-sex unions could be legally married in the Catholic Church. People who the relationship between two persons is not merely a question of an intimate relationship that would imply a physical relationship, but it also has to be open to life. So that would take place only if people belong to two sexes. So given this as a basic end of a marriage relationship, intimacy and procreation, these two ends are not reflected in a homosexual relationship. So that is why the church would not accept it as morally right. We also kind of give not orientation talks, but kind of sessions. Now in the sermons, it could happen occasionally that the priest would speak about this, but there's a difference. When you give a talk in a sermon, there's no chance to interact with the person. You make a statement, you share certain things, but that with a topic like this where you need to clarify and express, it does not happen so easily.
You will see a whole chapter dedicated towards homosexuality in Kama Sutra. Again, Kama Sutra is our religious book, a book which we consider as holy. If you visit our many Asian temple walls, you will see so many depictions of homosexuality on temple walls. If we talk about Hindu mythology, you will see tons and tons of stories of queer sexuality, wherein our gods and goddesses and mythological characters have had queer sexuality as part of their storytelling, wherein we have a very famous example of Arjuna getting married to Krishna as in a form of a Mohini just for a night.
The LGBT stereotype has been widely exploited by Indian media. Stepping away from controversy, channels stick to reporting only the superficial quirks of the
People
community.
from the LGBT community were called for. I think the name of the newspaper was Bombay Times, and it was all over social media actually, the way they stereotyped the gay people as to how they did not look gay enough, or they were not dressed enough to look gay for the particular interview. So when these people, they were my friends only, a few of the people I know, they went for the interview and they were told to come the day after because they did not look gay enough for the interview.
You will see a complete trans woman or effeminate gay man when it comes to depiction of the queer community in media and newspaper, which are indeed queer, which we are very much proud of. But also there are so many masculine gay men or the gay men who just wear the clothes like you and me on their daily lives, and who do not identify themselves as a drag queens or transgender, who are also very much part of the same community.
Legal perspectives point out that Section 377 contradicts other laws of the Constitution.
It's a vexed question because 376 has been amended in 2013 to include anal penetration, and that is what is carnal under 377. Therefore, the question I ask myself today is, and it's interesting, if a man has anal sex with his wife against her wishes, it constitutes a crime of 377. But under 376, even though anal sex is an offense, if it is a case of a wife above the age of 18, it's not a crime. If privacy is a fundamental right under Article 21, the judges have questioned the legality of Justice Singhvi's bench judgment, and that will certainly be reconsidered now in the light of the privacy judgment, and I have a strong reason to believe that that judgment may be overruled in the near future.
Imagine a world where you're different and you're struggling, where the whole world looks at you with disgust, judges you. The law of the nation is against you. You can't hold hands with somebody whom you love. You can't kiss somebody whom you love. And when you express love to that person, you'd have antisocial elements coming and beating you up. What if your love was illegitimate, and what if I judged your love? I judged your existence. I judged the way you look. I judged the clothes you wore, and I stereotyped you. Let me tell you one thing, that when you accept homosexuals for who they are, when you accept transgenders for who they are, you're not doing them a favor. You're returning the favor.
Despite all the hardships they face in India, there is still hope for the LGBT community, but only if there is social acceptance.